Good afternoon, everyone. I also have quite hard job, not only to present you a good practice coming from the Baltic states, Lithuania, but also not allow you to get asleep after the lunch. So I will introduce you shortly Baltic Innovation Fund, and actually probably this could be considered already as a result of DIFASS project, because as you will see, the Baltic Innovation Fund was launched in 2012, and it could be considered as a transfer of good practice, which unfortunately didn't succeed. It is like a successor project of Nordic Innovation Fund, which EIF wanted to establish between 5 Scandinavian countries. What is Baltic Innovation Fund at INVEGA's perspective? I hope that some of you already seen this map of instrument, financial instrument INVEGA is managing. All these instruments are targeting to facilitate SME access to finance, from micro loans, soft loans, guarantees, some subsidies for the creation of new jobs. But today I'm going to talk to you about the Baltic Innovation Fund, one of the financial instruments within the INVEGA fund, as a holding fund, which we already had today about the concept of Jeremie holding funds and financial instruments financed from structural funds. We use to finance Baltic Innovation Fund with the reflows of ERDF resources that we already used once in other financial instruments of INVEGA fund. So what is Baltic Innovation Fund? It's a joint initiative of European Investment Fund and 3 Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia. The aim of this instrument to target growth potential SMEs in the region, not only in one country, not only in Lithuania, but in all 3 Baltic states, and also some investments outside could be treated as eligible. And the aim is to boost private equity investments in the region. We already seen today some serious development stages of the companies, so investments of the Baltic Innovation Fund are targeted to the later stage investments, so to the expansion of the companies. And also in our minds, Baltic Innovation Fund has a target to develop a private equity market in all the region. So I'm saying region, I mean all 3 Baltic states, including Lithuania, and also bring private and institutional investors to the market to discover Baltic markets. Baltic Innovation Fund is a fund of funds with an amount of 100 million euros, where 4 investors committed to this fund. 40 million comes from European Investment Fund, and equally 20 million coming from each country. And these investments, 20 million euros from each country, are coming from different financial institutions in the Baltic states, through Credex in Estonia, through LGA, Latvian Guarantee Agency in Latvia, and through INVEGA in Lithuania. In Lithuania, we, as I already mentioned, we are going to use reflows of ERDF resources within INVEGA fund. And these 100 million euros, the amount of fund of fund, should leverage at least additional 100 million euros of private investment. And this will go to the particular funds which will be established. And Baltic Innovation Fund is operational already since 1st January 2013, and already 3 management companies of venture capital, private equity, and mezzanine funds are selected. I will show you one of the examples of the private equity fund that has already concluded the fundraising. And the most important thing in this scheme is that Baltic Innovation Fund investing into the particular venture capital, private equity or mezzanine funds, further investments to the companies dedicates to the private fund managers. So actually acting as a cornerstone investor in the particular fund, we ease for the fund managers to attract additional private investments. Being quite small, I mean each country market of each Baltic states, Lithuania having, let's say, 3 million inhabitants, Latvia about 2.5 million, Estonia 1.5 million inhabitants, in total about 7 million. Still we are considered as very small countries, and then the main strength is cooperation of different countries. And also I have to say that Baltic Innovation Fund is the first multi-country fund managed by European Investment Fund. As I already mentioned, there was an attempt to create something within the Scandinavian countries, and it was initiative, actually you can find on YouTube the presentation of EF representatives about the Nordic Investment Fund. And the strength is cooperation of several member states, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. Also, participation of the state leverages private investments. So we could attract private investors that otherwise would not find this market. And also, this is quite good example how to reuse reflows of the structural funds that already were used finance another financial engineering instruments from the 2007-2013. Opportunities that brings Baltic Innovation Fund to the market, so we through this initiative can attract wealthier and stronger fund managers, because they can scale up the funds they are managing. We already heard today about the seed funds that could be relatively quite small, just about 1 million, and Baltic Innovation Fund could invest up to 33 million into the fund. So this could target really big funds, and because funds could invest alongside in all 3 Baltic states, so for them it's much bigger the deal flow. And also BIF initiative will contribute to the development of private equity and venture capital market in the states. And here is the example, how does it look, the investment into particular fund. So the fund is called Baltic Private Equity Fund 2, with a target volume of 100 million euros. Baltic Innovation Fund invested, acting as a cornerstone investor, invested 20 million euros. And this will enable to attract other institutional and, let's call them, private investors, so EBRD also committing up to 20 million euros. And what are the most important, also the managers of the pension fund. So Swedbank, LHV, and Danske Capital, they are managers of the pension fund. And hopefully, these investments of the pension funds, due to the aim to diversify their investments, will not end up just investing into the one fund alongside with the Baltic Innovation Fund. Looking from the public sector perspective, so for example, Lithuania committing 20% into this investment, which means actually 4 million euros from Lithuania. If all investments coming to the SMEs in the region will spread proportionally, so we could expect 33 million of investment into Lithuanian SMEs. So what does it mean? Contributing and committing just 4 million euros, we could have as a result 33 million euros investment into the companies, and the same will apply to all other countries, so Latvia and Estonia. So, yeah, shortly, this is it. And if you have any questions, I will be more than glad to answer them. Thanks.